See it. Wake up and rise up in your eyes. It's breakfast with the timelesses, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday. Work it out Wednesday. Pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love. Serving food to what those two. Rising as the beat and it. Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the timelesses. Come eat with me. Ooh. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. See it. Wake up and rise up in your eyes.
Hey everybody.
It's breakfast with the timelesses, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday.
Hey, how y'all doing? Grand Rising. Welcome to our Mental Wellness Monday.
Grand Rising. Yes. It is the thing. It is the time. This is a place to be first thing in the morning. Breakfast with the Thomases.
Absolutely.
And we are so glad to be here with you. Glad you could be here with us and share the morning. Share our first cup of Joe.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Funny how we didn't get to put the Joe down. I'm like, where's my stuff?
Don't worry about it.
That's what's up. Grand Rising, everybody. It's your girl, Ruby T, and this is Mr. Who? What's your name?
Time
What's
is
your
the
name?
Gold Banker coming to you live 1 gram at a time, and it is beautiful.
Yes, darling.
Oh,
yes.
We got some great stuff for you guys today. I want you guys to really know, this weekend was an awesome weekend. A lot of things are happening around the world, around the country.
Yes.
And we just want you guys to get ready. I'm going to say that one of the things I noticed in relationships, there's always an issue around being prepared around your finances. And everyone wants to know where we are with our finance, what are we doing? And today we're going to talk about that. This is, I want to say hindsight 2020, because we've talked about this a few times, and it's time for us to really make a decision. We're at 0 hour and things are happening around the world. Around the world, they call it geopolitical events, but we're more concerned about our geopolitical inside our house and just outside our door, because that's what affects us directly. And, it really affects us directly, and we really want you guys to be in the conversation and in the know about where we really are and what's really happening and how this is really going to affect you. And I said really 3 times, and I want you to know, because this is.
Don't say really again.
No. It's pertinent.
Grand Rising, everybody.
It's pertinent to the fact.
Yes.
I'm that adamant about it.
Okay.
It's pertinent. Really.
So with that, we want to share a little information, so we get some education and we get some elevation and action.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in conversation forever. I believe we get to talking and then we figure out what the problem is and we start to create some resolutions. This affects everyone's life. This is Mental Wellness Monday. And that which you face and deal with and then find an answer for and begin the work changes everything.
Yes, it does.
We're going to set up the week. We're going to help you set the week at ease, because there is no reason for you to panic or to worry. The world's just doing what the world do. As my friends say, life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
And with that, I want to bring you into some resolution. Let's talk about what can be done, what we need to do. Let's take those steps. So with that, we thank you for being on this beautiful, wonderful day. I want you guys to realize something. We only say Grand Rising. We don't say the other word. The only way to wake in your day is wide and big and great. So let's do it. All right, getting ready to hop into some new information. We hope you guys appreciate what we're bringing, and this can actually bring you some peace.
The lights are off on Wall Street. The traders are at home. But on the other side of the world, in Singapore, in Shanghai, and in the dark pools of the electronic futures market, absolute chaos is breaking out. We are witnessing something tonight that we haven't seen in the silver market for 45 years. We are seeing a true, unadulterated supply shock, not a speculative bubble, not a paper squeeze, a physical blockade of one of the most critical strategic assets on the planet. For the last 3 months, we have been warning you about a date, a single date that has been hanging over this market like a guillotine. January 1st, 2026. Most analysts told you it was a nothing burger. They said it was just an administrative change. They said China updates its export policies every year and that it wouldn't affect the flow of silver to the West. They told you that the global supply chain was resilient, that the COMEX had plenty of metal, and that the premiums we were seeing were just temporary noise. Well, tonight, those analysts are scrambling to rewrite their reports because approximately 4 hours ago, a document leaked from the Ministry of Commerce in Beijing. It hasn't hit the main pages of Bloomberg or Reuters yet. They are still trying to verify the translation. They are still trying to get a quote from a government official who isn't picking up the phone. But we have the document. And the contents of this leak are not just an administrative update. They are an economic declaration of war. The document details the implementation of the new strategic resource control measures that go into effect in exactly 11 days. And the headline is terrifying for anyone who is short silver. Starting January 1st, China is not just taxing silver exports. They are not just regulating them. They are implementing a full-scale licensing regime that effectively freezes the movement of silver out of the country. According to the text, any silver leaving the People's Republic of China, whether it is in the form of 1,000-ounce bars, grain, or even semi-processed paste, must now be accompanied by a strategic necessity waiver signed by the state planner. Do you know how many of those waivers have been granted for Q1 2026? 0, not one. This means that starting on New Year's Day, roughly 15% of the global refining capacity for silver is being locked behind a wall. It is being trapped inside the Chinese domestic market. Why does this matter? Why should you care if metal is stuck in Shanghai? Because the West is broke, physically broke. The vaults in London are empty. The eligible inventory in New York has been drained to historic lows. The entire Western financial system has been surviving on a lifeline of leased metal flowing from the East to the West. We have been borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and Peter just decided he isn't lending anymore. He is closing the bank. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through exactly what is happening in the Asian markets right now. I am going to explain why this export ban is the final nail in the coffin for the bullion banks who are trapped in a massive short position. And I am going to show you why the price you see on your screen, this $67.60 price, is an illusion that is about to be shattered. This is the story of the January 1st lockdown. And it starts with the panic we are seeing on the charts this very second. To understand the gravity of tonight, you have to understand the mechanism of the silver market for the last 5 years. It has been a game of musical chairs played on a global scale. Since 2020, the industrial demand for silver has skyrocketed. We all know the reasons: solar panels, electric vehicles, 5G infrastructure, AI data centers. We have covered the math extensively. The world consumes more silver than it mines. That is a fact. It is indisputable. For 5 years, we have run a deficit. Every year, the miners pull about 800 million ounces out of the ground. And every year, the world uses 1 billion ounces or more. So where did the extra metal come from? How did the price stay at $25, then $30, then $40 for so long? Why didn't it explode years ago? The answer is the great west to east flow. Historically, the West held the inventory. London and New York were the vaults of the world. Billions of ounces of legacy silver sat in JP Morgan's vaults, in the LBMA warehouses, left over from the days when silver was money. As the deficits mounted, we drained those vaults. We melted down the legacy bars. We shipped them to China to be turned into solar paste. We shipped them to India to be turned into jewelry. But about 6 months ago, something changed. The flow reversed. The West ran out of loose metal. The easy silver was gone. The registered inventories on the COMEX dropped to levels that were dangerously low. Suddenly, the bullion banks in the West, the ones who had sold billions of paper ounces to investors, found themselves in a trap. They needed physical metal to deliver against their contracts, but they didn't have it. So they did what desperate addicts do. They went to the dealer. They went to China. In October of this year, we received credible intelligence that major U.S. bullion banks, specifically JP Morgan, entered into massive leasing agreements with Chinese state banks like the ICBC. The rumor was that they leased 4,000 metric tons of silver. That is nearly 130 million ounces. They borrowed this metal from China, shipped it to London and New York, and used it to calm the market. They used it to pretend that everything was fine. They used it to keep the price from going to $100 before the end of the year. But a lease is a loan. And loans have terms. And the most important term of that lease was the repayment date. The metal has to be returned. And here's where the January 1st lockdown turns a difficult situation into a fatal one. If China bans the export of silver on January 1st, that door slams shut. But it works both ways. It signals that China is hoarding. It signals that China views silver as a strategic asset that is too valuable to let leave the country. If JP Morgan and the other banks haven't already returned that 130 million ounces, they are in big trouble. But if they have returned it, it means the vaults in the West are empty again. And now they can't borrow anymore. The leak tonight confirms that China sees what is coming. They know the shortage is real. They know that the US dollar is weakening. They know that in a world of geopolitical tension, he who holds the gold and the silver makes the rules. By locking down exports, Beijing is effectively saying, the era of cheap silver for the West is over. If you want our metal, you will have to come and build your factories here. You will have to manufacture your solar panels here. We are not going to feed your industry anymore. This is a resource nationalism move of the highest order. It is exactly what happened with rare earth minerals in 2010. It is exactly what happened with Russian gas in 2022. And the market knows it. Look at what is happening in the Asian pre-market trading right now. Usually, Sunday nights are quiet, the spreads are wide, the volume is low. You might see a 10-cent move. Tonight, silver gaped up by $1.40 at the open. We closed Friday around $66.50. We opened tonight in Asia at $67, $90. And as I speak, bids are hitting $68.10. That is a violent move. That is panic buying. Who is buying? It's not the retail investor in Ohio. It's not the stacker in Germany. They are asleep. The entities buying silver aggressively on a Sunday night in Singapore are the industrial users. It is the electronics manufacturers in Korea. It is the solar panel makers in Malaysia. It is the refining clients in Japan. They are reading this leaked document, and they are realizing that their supply chain just got cut by 15%. They are realizing that come January 1st, they might not be able to get delivery. So they are front-running the ban. They are trying to secure every ounce of physical metal they can find before the window closes. They don't care about the price. At $68, silver is still cheap if the alternative is zero silver. If your factory shuts down because you don't have paste, you lose millions of dollars a day. Paying a few dollars more per ounce is a rounding error. This is the transition we have been waiting for. The transition from a speculative market to a scarcity market. In a speculative market, price matters. If the price gets too high, buyers walk away. In a scarcity market, price is irrelevant. Buyers buy because they must, and the leak of the January 1st lockdown is the signal that scarcity is here. But there is another layer to this story, a layer that involves the banks themselves. On Friday, we saw the CFTC bank participation report. We covered it in detail. The US banks flipped net long. They stopped shorting. They switched sides. Why did they do that? Did they know this leak was coming? Of course they did. JP Morgan has offices in Shanghai. They have deep connections with the Chinese regulators. They knew this export ban was coming down the pipe. They knew that the January 1st lockdown was real. That is why they spent October, November, and December covering their shorts. That is why they stopped smashing the price. They knew that once this news hit the public, nothing would be able to stop the explosion. They positioned themselves to be on the right side of the trade. They got long because they knew the supply shock was guaranteed. But in doing so, they left someone else holding the bag. The report showed that while US banks went long, non-US banks, foreign banks, increased their short position to over 200 million ounces. These foreign banks are now walking into a buzzsaw. Tomorrow morning, when the sun comes up in London, those foreign banks are going to wake up to a nightmare. They are short 200 million ounces. The price is gaping up. The supply from China is being cut off, and their biggest allies, the Americans, have abandoned them. What happens when a bank is trapped in a short squeeze of this magnitude? They panic. They have two choices. They can double down and try to short more, hoping to break the price. But how can you short a market that is driven by physical shortage? You can print paper contracts, but you can't print silver bars. And the industrial buyers don't want paper contracts. They want bars, or they can cover. They can buy back their shorts. If they try to buy back 200 million ounces in a market where China has locked the door, where do they get the metal? They have to bid it up. They have to offer $70, then $75, then $80. They have to bid until someone is willing to sell. But who is selling? Are you selling? I doubt it. You know what's happening. Is Samsung selling? No, they just bought a mine to get more. Is China selling? No, they just banned exports. There are no sellers. This is the recipe for a super spike, a vertical move in price that defies all technical analysis. We are seeing the early tremors of it tonight. But the real earthquake starts when the Western markets fully digest this news. The media will try to spin this. Tomorrow, you will see headlines on CNBC saying silver rallies on China rumors. They will call it geopolitical tensions. They will try to downplay it. They will bring on experts who say that the ban isn't absolute, that there are loopholes. Do not listen to them. Read the document. The language is clear. Strategic necessity waiver. That is bureaucratic code for no. China does not want its silver to leave. They need it for their own solar dominance. They produce 80% of the world's panels. They know that silver is the bottleneck. Why would they export the bottleneck to their competitors? It makes zero strategic sense. So the ban is real, the trap is set, and the 15% of global supply that usually flows from east to west is about to disappear. Let's do some math on that 15%. Global mine production is about 840 million ounces. 15% of that is roughly 126 million ounces. That is the size of the hole being punched in the market. 126 million ounces is more than the entire annual consumption of the United States Mint for silver eagles. It is more than the entire annual consumption of the global photography industry. It is massive, and it is disappearing overnight. The market was already in a deficit of 200 million ounces. Now you add another 126 million ounces of trapped supply that can't reach the West. The effective deficit for the Western markets is now over 300 million ounces. There is no mathematical way for the price to remain at $67 with a deficit that large. The clearing price, the price at which demand is destroyed enough to balance the market, is much, much higher. Is it $100? Is it $150? We are going to find out. But tonight, the most important takeaway is this: the rules of the game have changed. For decades, the silver market was defined by liquidity. You could always get metal. You could always lease it, borrow it, or buy it. The price might fluctuate, but the availability was never in question. Starting January 1st, availability is the only question. The liquidity is drying up. The world is breaking into fragmented blocks. The Chinese block has silver. The Western block needs silver, and the bridge between them is burning down. If you hold physical silver in your possession, you are holding a ticket to the lifeboat. If you are holding paper silver or unallocated pool accounts or ETFs that claim to have metal in sub-custodian vaults in London, you need to be very, very worried. Because when the export ban hits and the banks scramble for physical, they are going to exercise force majeure on those paper contracts. They are going to settle you in cash. They will give you your $67 back and say, sorry, we can't deliver. Meanwhile, the real metal will be trading at $100 on the black market. This is the divergence, the split between the fake price and the real price, and it is starting tonight. To understand why the silver market is breaking tonight, you have to understand that this isn't an accident. This isn't a random policy change. What we are witnessing is the final phase of a plan that was written 10 years ago. In 2015, the Chinese Communist Party released a strategic roadmap called Made in China 2025. The goal was simple. China would no longer be the world's cheap factory. It would become the dominant superpower in high-tech manufacturing. They identified 10 key sectors: robotics, aerospace, biotech, and most importantly, new energy. For a decade, the West laughed. We thought they were just building cheap plastic toys. But while we were laughing, they were cornering the market on every single raw material needed to build the future. They did it with cobalt in the Congo. They did it with lithium in South America. And now in the final days of 2025, they are doing it with silver. This January 1st lockdown is not about money. China has plenty of money. This is about industrial survival. Let me explain the technology that is driving this ban, because the mainstream media is completely ignoring it. For the last 5 years, the solar industry ran on a technology called PERC. It was efficient enough, and it used a moderate amount of silver paste. The West could handle the demand. But in 2024, the Chinese solar giants, LONGi, Jinko Solar, Trina, made a massive synchronized pivot. They switched their production lines to a new technology called N-type, TOPCon. Why? Because N-type cells are roughly 5% more efficient. That sounds small, but in the energy world, 5% is the difference between profit and bankruptcy. But there is a fatal flaw in N-type technology. It is a silver vampire. An N-type solar cell consumes 30% to 50% more silver than the old PERC cells. It requires silver paste on both sides of the wafer, not just the front. When China switched their factories to N-type, they effectively increased their national silver consumption by 50 million ounces a year overnight. They looked at their internal stockpiles. They looked at the mines, and they did the math. They realized that if they continued to export silver to the West to help America and Europe build their solar panels, China would run out of metal for its own factories. So, the strategic necessity waiver we saw in the leak tonight isn't just bureaucracy. It is a rationing mechanism. Beijing is saying, we have enough silver for our N-type revolution. We do not have enough silver for yours. This is exactly what they did with rare earths in 2010. Do you remember that crisis? China controlled 97% of the rare earth market. In a dispute with Japan, they quietly halted exports. The price of dysprosium and neodymium went vertical. Japanese high-tech industry almost collapsed in weeks. The West screamed. We filed lawsuits at the WTO. We won the lawsuits. 5 years later, by then, it didn't matter. The damage was done. The supply chains had already moved to China. They are running the same playbook with silver. The leak confirms that starting January 1st, 2026, Chinese smelters are prohibited from exporting silver bars unless they can prove the metal is surplus to domestic strategic requirements. Surplus? There is no surplus. They are running a deficit. This means the export number goes to zero. Now, think about the Western banks. Think about JP Morgan. Think about the London Bullion Market Association, LBMA. They have built a financial system that relies on the free flow of metal. They lease silver from China in the morning, sell it in London in the afternoon, and buy it back in New York at night. It is a carousel. On January 1st, the music stops. The carousel breaks. If JP Morgan owes ICBC 130 million ounces and they can't ship it back because of capital controls, or if they were planning to lease more to cover their shorts, they are dead in the water. This explains why the foreign banks, the non-US banks from the CFTC report, are panicking. They are the ones who rely on this international flow. They don't have their own mines. They don't have their own vaults. They are middlemen. And in a resource war, the middleman is the first casualty. The Western failure to anticipate this move is staggering. We saw the export control law passed in 2020. We saw them add gallium and germanium to the list in 2023. We saw them add graphite in 2024. Silver was always the next logical step. It is the most conductive metal on Earth. You cannot build a missile, a satellite, a server, or a solar panel without it. The West treated silver like a legacy monetary metal, a pet rock. China treated silver like energy. We have covered the leak. We have covered the history. Now we need to talk about the future, specifically the next 24 hours. Because when the sun rises over London tomorrow morning and the traders at the LBMA walk onto their floor, they are going to be walking into a crime scene. The leak of the Chinese export ban has effectively turned every single short contract in existence into a toxic asset. Let's play out the scenario. At 3 a.m. New York time, the London market opens. This is the physical fix. This is where the big industrial users, the Teslas, the Samsungs, the Glencores, buy their actual metal. Usually, this is a polite, orderly process. Tomorrow, it will be a riot. Because of the Sunday night gap we are seeing in Asia right now, with silver trading near 68, the London market is going to open in a state of immediate stress. The foreign banks we discussed, the ones holding that 200 million ounce short position, are going to receive a margin call notification before they even finish their coffee. Their risk managers are going to look at the screen. They are going to see the Chinese export ban. They are going to see the US banks sitting on long positions. And they're going to scream one word: cover. But here is the mechanics of a squeeze that most people don't understand. To cover a short position of that size, you cannot just click buy. If you buy 5 million ounces at market price, you push the price up by $2. If you buy 10 million ounces, you push it up by $5. These banks need to buy 200 million ounces. As soon as the first bank blinks, as soon as Deutsche Bank or whoever it is places that first massive buy order, the price is going to telescope upwards. It will go from $68 to $69 in seconds. And that brings us to the most dangerous number on the chart, 70, $70 is not just a round number, it is the psychological breakpoint. For 5 years, $30 was the ceiling. Then $50 was the ceiling. Now, $70 is the final line in the sand. Above $70, there's no technical resistance. There's no historical chart data. There are no bag holders from 1980 looking to sell. Everyone who owns silver above $70 is in profit. When an asset enters all-time highs with no resistance, it enters a state called price discovery mode. In price discovery mode, the algorithms that run the modern financial world stop looking at history. They switch to momentum mode. They see a runaway asset with zero supply and they chase it. This is exactly what happened to nickel in March 2022. Do you remember the nickel squeeze? The LME had to shut down the exchange because the price went vertical. It went from $25,000 to $100,000 in 2 days. Why? Because a massive Chinese tycoon was short and he couldn't deliver the metal. The banks panicked, the price exploded, and the system broke. We are setting up for a nickel 2.0 in silver, but this time it is not one tycoon. It is the entire Western banking system, minus the Americans. And the asset is not nickel. It is the most strategic metal in the electronics industry. So here are my price targets for the week. Phase 1, the breach, 70. I expect us to test this level on Monday or Tuesday. The volatility will be extreme. They will try to slam it back down. But the buying pressure from Asia is too strong. Once we close a daily candle above $70, the short squeeze officially begins. Phase 2, the vacuum, 85. Between $70 and $85, there is thin air. The foreign banks will be forced to liquidate other assets to meet margin calls. We could see this move happen in a single week. This is the panic phase. Phase 3, the target, 100. $100 is the mathematical target where the shortage starts to destroy demand. At $100, maybe, just maybe, Apple decides to recycle old iPhones more aggressively. At $100, maybe some marginal mines in Peru come back online. But until we hit triple digits, the supply destruction from the Chinese ban cannot be fixed. But I have to give you a warning, a very serious warning. While the price is going to the moon, the market might break. If you own physical silver in your hand, you are safe. You have the asset. You are rich. But if you own paper silver, if you own an unallocated account or a futures contract or certain ETFs, you are walking into a trap called force majeure. Every futures contract has a clause in the fine print. It says that if the exchange determines that delivery is impossible due to circumstances beyond control, they can settle the contract in cash. Imagine this scenario. Silver hits $100. You're cheering. You think you made a fortune. But the COMEX declares force majeure because they can't get metal from China. They close your contract and they send you a check for the settlement price. But what is the settlement price? Is it $100? Or do they halt trading at $75 and settle you there? And even if they give you $100 cash, try taking that $100 and buying an ounce of physical silver. The premiums on physical coins will be 50%, maybe 100%. The dealers will be sold out. The websites will be crashed. So you will have a pile of fiat currency that is rapidly losing value, and you will have zero silver. This is why the January 1st lockdown is so critical. It separates the real market from the fake market. The Chinese know this. That is why they are banning exports. They don't want paper profits. They want the metal. The US banks know this. That is why they went net long. They want to be on the receiving end of the physical delivery. The only people who don't know this are the retail investors who are still playing in the casino. So here's my final verdict for Sunday, December 21st, 2025. The leak is real. The export ban is coming. The supply chain is broken. The foreign banks are trapped. We are about to witness the greatest wealth transfer in the history of commodities. It is flowing from those who hold paper promises to those who hold physical reality. If you have been waiting to buy, you are out of time. The window closes tomorrow morning. If you are thinking of selling, you are insane. You are selling a winning lottery ticket before the drawing. This is not a drill. This is the end of the suppression. This is the beginning of price discovery. Watch the open, watch $70 and hold on tight. The January 1st lockdown has begun. We at Currency Archive want to thank you for being part of this movement. Subscribe.
Very interesting. All right, so we're watching information. This is not
advice.
Not advice. It's not exact. It's not anything but information. When we say do your own homework, we want you to take the points of reference he gave you and pull them together for yourself. So what can we do with this? And I know everybody's like, okay, Ms. Thomas, now what?
Oh yeah, this is definitely the now what conversation.
So what I wanted to say is we shared this because this can be an opportunity for folks. We teach digital financial literacy on our platform. P2G is a digital financial literacy education platform. We don't have multi-level marketings. I don't sell crypto or gold or silver. I actually help people find the resources. I get paid to instruct you how to research, think, and make good decisions in a wide range of markets, of new markets. So what's available is what you want to know. What's available? And you said something during the video. So you're predicting yourself. This is just him saying, when you can't get back in metals because now they've topped you out with cash, where you going to go?
What do you do with your finances and what's available to you?
So if you got a $500,000 silver contract that gets canceled out for cash settlement instead of your actual silver, which by the way is destined to go up even from there because you're in that spiral up with scarcity. What you gonna run to next? And you know what Mr. Thomas said, that's what Bitcoin is gonna be. It's gonna look good to people.
Bitcoin's gonna be cash me out.
Right. So because of course they got funds, but gold is like gonna be a chip compared to what they're doing. And
one of the things you also gotta be advised, when they settle your contracts in cash, you now have to deal with capital gains, which they don't ever talk about when they tell you they're settling your contract. That's not something they worry about because that's not on them. That's your taxes are your business. Yeah. And so
This is why we have to come together as a community. Too many of us are out here thinking things and not learning things and not learning to put things into action, or finding out that, oh my God, has a lot of steps. So, I realize when I talk to folks, sometimes it's like I blow them out because I'm like, oh, we doing this and we doing that and we doing this and we doing that. But they don't understand everything we do. I have a 12-week program.
Right.
Everything you learn is progressive. It means it builds and stacks on top of each other. It's information that once you learn, you're ready to get that next piece. We don't do anything. It's strategic. We're not here to teach you how to get money. We're here to teach you how to manage and create, manage, and build portfolios that belong to you. And to even find and extract out of your life what you already have. So you could see, you've been doing something with this time. Oh, y'all grown people. You know what I'm saying?
We always say in P2G and Breakfast Time, we don't do lazy money. A lot of people have assets that are not even assets. Everybody has these large bank accounts, and they say, "Okay, I'm preparing for retirement."
Talk about the money, right?
But who's holding your retirement? I'm gonna be very upfront with you guys right now. I got injured and I needed to go into my retirement account to get settled up. They told me I had to wait for it. It's my money. I put the time in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you can only get so much of it because of your age requirement.
I learned that from a couple some years ago.
And
they get allocations of their money. They can't if they have an investment, they gotta borrow from themselves. How do you borrow your own money
and then pay it back?
But see, we're not paying attention. And the fact of the matter is that very soon they won't have to give it to you.
No, they won't.
See, guys, when things happen on a large scale, meaning a broad scale, the rules change across the board. It's no longer considered discriminatory activity. It is now just a change and shift because of whatever act of God, shifting the economy on a broad basis. They have names for this, y'all.
Yes, they do.
Terms and laws and rules. So what do you do when you can't get to what you spent all that time trying to get to? Now that's for my people who have retirement. What about the folks that don't even have a retirement? Y'all out here doing gig work, you doing jobs, you doing part-times. I don't know if they still do what do you call it? Temp. I don't know if temp still exists because I used to love that. I used to love that. I love temping.
They call them shift gigs now.
Shift gigs. Now the funny thing is this. Y'all working, how many of y'all can afford to stop working? Afford to get sick, get the flu, be out more than one day, and not be taking on some serious repercussions? You got to walk into work sick or not, because if you don't, how you going to make that rent?
Mm-hmm.
How you going to make the basic necessities? You may not have a whole lot of food in your house, but the one thing y'all got is a roof over your head. And that's one of the things that people know. Got to keep that roof, got to keep that roof. Now, let me get to my folks that are on the system and y'all being taken care of by the system. Y'all realize that those days are coming to an end. They're becoming very, very, not just questionable, but specifically their requirements to maintain your services from the government. That's all written into the first day coming in January
1.
So a lot of stuff was written for 2026. Early in 2025. We've been sharing that with you. Some of y'all been seeing the results of that. People are like, oh, I got my food stamps back. Don't get comfortable. It ain't about that same rule, y'all.
And remember, we told
everything
you
changed.
I'm sorry, baby, my problem.
No, go ahead.
But we also shared with you that the government is on a temporary contract for back to work. And it expires January 1 as well. So.
Jeez. What you doing for your January 1? Well, I can tell you this. All right, straight up.
Rocking in the new year?
I want you guys, I'm going to set you up for a good play. I put out asking people if they want to come up in 22, if they really want to come up in 2026. If you want to do that, you guys are welcome to join us for our, we have a masterclass that we're giving on January 26th. For 2026, we are going to be doing in 2025 on the 31st. Yes, New Year's Eve. I will be doing a live masterclass at approximately 12 noon New York time, Eastern. 12 noon Eastern. Y'all go to the website, p2gnetworks.com. You see at the bottom here, and go take a look at the flyer. We are going to be doing a hard metals or precious metals and gems how-to masterclass. And not where to buy, because I'm not telling you that. We're going to teach you how you buy them, where you get them from. Start putting your savings together. Start putting your cash assets together. Start looking at, and I'm going to teach you how to get it in all kinds of ways. Mm-hmm. First of all, this masterclass is a donation, so you have to donate to the platform. We're not doing free no more. Free is over. You're gonna find that 2026 free has been completely obliterated.
That's the building.
What I'm letting folks know, and all my members, those who are listening who are members of P2G or already registered members, this is part of your membership, so just show up. What I let you know right now, there will be, not for $25, there will be no replays. You are not getting replays for $25. So if you don't show up, it's on you. But I'm putting out the best of the best. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be putting out resources. I'm going to be putting out informationals. You're going to figure out what you want to do. But you got till today, from today until then, to save up or gather what you can to get medals before the year trips over.
Because there's many ways to get it.
And we're not talking about paper promises. I'm talking about delivery. I'm talking about to your door or to wherever you say to send it, because it's on you. We'll be talking about safety. We'll be talking about security. Yeah, Miss Ruby, how I spend it? You ain't spending it. This gonna be your nest egg. You're gonna need this. We're gonna teach you system. That whole day, y'all getting kind of a bridge version of what we teach. See, I teach people how to do it step by step. While y'all riding this new bike, getting this new information, going this new direction, all we do as a coach is shift your wheels, help you to get straight and aligned. And see, because
seats are going to be limited, because we can't put as many people as we need to, but I want you to get it.
I'm only putting 12 butts in seats. I am not doing more than 12 people. And I like that. I love that everybody want to support, but this masterclass is not happening again until the end of my next session. Yeah. My class is the focus. The folks that are in the active class, if you want to be in the class, you're welcome to join the program. Y'all know on the website, you'll be able to see we have paid, we have free, we have the programs like the masterclass that are donation, all on the platform. And our membership is all inclusive. Yep. Now I got one thing to say about our membership. For this 10th cohort, this 12-week program, our seats, we have a few seats left. It is now 1/2 of the price. Our normal membership price for all inclusive is $150 a month.
Correct.
And people are like, oh my God, I'm paying you $150. How I'm saving? Trust me, my people don't have a problem with it. They don't have a lot of money, but they know that education changes the situation every time. What they're getting from me, make sure that they can pay it. See, that's the thing. We don't understand. You went to school to get an education that did not guarantee a pay. This is all we do. Mm-hmm. We find ways to trip money over into your bill money, anything you want, and your future money. But that's the thing. We don't understand money.
So we don't know the difference between money and currency.
That's not only that. We don't know how to use it. I know how to use it. I learned how to use it. I learned that if you want to run a business, you're gonna have to pay the bills up front.
Get it out the way.
You're not gonna. You want to own your levels or own what you own. You're gonna have to say, okay, let me pull from that which I have, so I can take and secure that which I'm building. Look, I'm gonna tell you, this is a game. This is a mindset game, and it's changing all the time. You have to be ready. You have to realize you're getting ready to change and shift your life. So you got to prepare for it, and you're gonna have to learn to pay for it. I'm talking, but what's crazy is the first time I realized I was grateful to have bills. It's so crazy. It just came to mind. The first time I realized I was grateful to have bills meant that I had a life. How many of y'all out here hoping y'all don't have no bills?
That's the wrong way.
Mad because you got bills.
Look, I remember when
crazy, right?
I remember that conversation. We were reading The Secret together by Sandra Burns, Go look that book up. We don't get any credit for it, but go look that book up. The Secret by Sandra Burns.
That's a set.
She was talking about she wanted to put a show together, a movie together, and she didn't have any money, so she started writing her bills. She would come in, add zeros to them, put them on a wall, and make them a check. And I will take that. That goes into another part of what we do. But I want you to realize, if you can imagine your bills becoming paychecks or assets or income coming to you, what can you do with your mind? What can you turn them into?
And I'm just going to piggyback off the back of that. What that spoke to me was that I finally got a chance to see that I had income. Your bills prove that you have income. Your bills prove that you're not broke.
Yep.
You just need new skills to get to the next level. When you add that zero, it's a mindset confirmation that you have come up. It is a mindset. If you add a zero to your bill, that means that you have physically come up to new ability.
Yep.
Y'all get that? You can't have bills bigger than what you can afford. Y'all know that? People, we got credit card debt. Somewhere at some time, you were in a position, regardless of what you did with it, you were in a position to get that credit.
Yes, indeed.
What happens is we take on the negative connotation to debt. There's good debt, there's bad debt. Yesterday, we were talking about that when we were going over this with some folks. We invited everybody, tell y'all right now, we did it in depth. But it's so interesting. I was talking about a strategy that we use for getting assets. Wealthy people don't spend their money on the assets they have, right?
No, they don't.
They don't. They do. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It is not in your best interest to take your cash out your bank and go get an asset. It isn't. It is in your best. And that's weird. It's so weird. So in your beginning, when you're saving, you start with buying assets that you build up. That's the first thing. When you have very small money, but as you start to build, you now have the ability to leverage after collateralizing.
Yes.
So money ain't the same.
No, it is not. You have to look at it differently.
So we teach you how to get the beginner assets. If you don't have a whole lot of money, you need something to come into. Like we told you, they cash up them people. If they cash those people's contracts out to cash, they're looking for something to put it in to make that money back.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be sitting there, I got to spend it because it's cash. Are you crazy?
They're not spending that money.
They're going to find the next asset to put it in. You think they're going to choose paper? No. And then if they're taking the time to understand crypto, Bitcoin, they're now understanding that there is a worldwide aspect to it. There are values to it. We just talked about how China is doing what they're doing because we have they have to support their digital infrastructure to stay ahead of the world.
Right. And so they're closing the borders on.
Wait. But how does that connect to?
Oh, it's real simple.
Crypto.
That connects to crypto because guess what? When you shut the door on assets that are being put in the market,
I think that went over your head once.
No, but I'm gonna get to it.
Get there faster.
You know what? Let me tell you. The simple to this is, if you can't do it in paper, digital is the next way to go.
Why?
Because it's the easiest way to access funding and assets so that you can move what you have from paper.
There's digital contracts.
Still designed to paper.
How do they know that?
EFT, 401k, 457. They sell you these, all major broker firms sell these as.
That's not gold?
No, that's
there's not wait. Gold EFTs, they come in. That comes, look, see, I'm trying to get this man to understand something. Everybody don't know what you know. Yeah, and right now, there's a lot of folks out there that will talk you into your paper promise.
They'll talk you back in.
One of the things people worry about is that crypto, I'm not trying to make the big hit. I want to build interest over time. That's what crypto really is about. Because it's a developing market in the world of what it is that's developing. The world is developing in digital. It's the one thing that gives that anonymity, that actual, and people keep worried about, but is it safe? And can it go to the moon and then go to the ground? Yes, some cryptos do. But there are quite a few that are running the world right now. But the thing is if you don't understand what the shift is, if you're not taking the time to learn about the shift, how do you get to take advantage like the people who are doing well right now in the beginning? We're like heading toward the middle of the shift, toward the end. It's speeding up.
Yes, it is.
The shift in the world is not just going from, we're not just going from, everybody goes, oh, we're going from computers to AI now. No, actually, the shift that's going it's all blockchain, it's Web3, it's AI, it's a combination of things.
It's a lot of data.
It is all data driven and it's all programming. And if you do not understand that what you're getting into is investing in the future and learning how to manage those investments, which is why you see all these lawsuits coming up against different coins, this company and that company. When you see that, considering the hundreds, the thousands and thousands of coins there are, actually there are about 100,000 coins now, like hundreds of thousands of coins that there are and exist, the cryptos, ask yourself why these particular ones are in the spotlight. There's a game.
And who's putting them in the spotlight is the other question.
There's a game. That's a signal for folks that understand how to read signals. We listen and pay attention to the right things. We're not getting distracted by the latest fad or who shot John and who's going to court for this and the Trump this and they're gonna take him and that one's taking him down. And I don't have time for that because we have to eat. We got to keep eating. You got to keep eating. You got to make sure that your business or for those who are in business, you got to make sure your business keeps going and that you have alternative paths and roads to keep an income coming in. Y'all are getting laid off. You got neighbors and friends getting laid off. Neighborhood, you got people oh God, I wish I didn't know about this. What's going on with that app? Everybody seems to be getting this stupid app to tell them what the crime is in the neighborhood.
Oh, the Citizen app?
Oh, good Lord. It is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever seen. And I've got people calling me on the phone that they're following, going, where you at? I'm in my skin, making life happen. I'm not watching to see who's doing what. I'm not on that pathway. But thank you. I love you. And I'm glad that they love on me. But at the same time, we need to be sitting down, figuring out how we don't have to live in the midst, how we can change those circumstances, how people will start being so desperate that they'll rob, stab, and kill you for your stuff. Because that's only going to pick up. How these long lines have to stop being, look, I live in Harlem. We see block after block of long lines of people, food, soup kitchens, looking for stuff. I'm in closets right now, putting bags together to give away for people who need them. Why? Because if you won't take, y'all get that, if they won't get the education, we need to make sure that they stay warm and fed.
Yep.
But how long can we do that? If you can, how long can you feed someone else in your life? How long will it be before your ability to help stops happening and you go on the line too? That's why we do digital financial literacy. If you don't start changing your finances at pennies to get to physical gold, what's going to be left?
I laugh at it. And I'm going to share something with you. When I first started with understanding the blockchain and learning how to have the blockchain and cryptocurrency work for me, and it's not all about crypto, I started earning pennies. Now, I always attribute this to my wife's story about saving $1,000 and getting 8 cents over a year. If I took the same 1,000 she made and put it into a small investment in crypto, I get 8 cents in usually 8 days. 8 cents in 8 days for some of them, and then others that do a lot better.
We've been trying to get him to stop doing that for about a minute.
Yeah.
And you stopped, thank God. Because you said 1,000. If I put 1,000 in, I'm going to definitely give me a couple $100. Yeah. The reason I say that is because it's so vast an opportunity. We are all here finding platforms, opportunities. The silver situation. I think I may not have been in the algorithm for it had I not had a conversation, probably just the day before, with a good friend of mine talking about digital silver. So if I couldn't get the physical silver I got, I had an option to have the silver, the finances for the silver too. Right. One of the things I tell people, stay away from foreign entities, anything that has to be shipped in.
Yep.
We are teaching folks how to get to local and good, solid dealers in their community. I don't have and we have no affiliation with them.
None.
I'm not affiliating with nothing. If I show you where I get it, I'm not there. This is not a referral. And people go, well, that's business. You need a referral. You need to work that out with them. Sweetie, the minute that starts happening, I start limiting my finances.
Yep.
Robert Kiyosaki, #1. I'm not giving myself a job for someone else's business.
Other trick is you're not married to any particular asset. So go figure. You can make moves. You're aligned with any one particular. When you get your gold or silver, bronze, copper, whatever it is, you get it who gives you the best price. You're shopping for dollars, for lack of a better term. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
You're shopping for assets. You're not shopping for friendships.
So, like I said, I have no problem with MLMs. They just have no space, no space in my place. When it comes to financial literacy, I'm not teaching you how to go find and build somebody's business to get business, because I really need folks to understand. You know how to make money. You already know that. Children know how to make money. Little kids know how to make money, but we've never ever taught our children how to build assets, how to build through assets, how to live in the economy they live in. You don't live in a cash-driven economy,
No, you
but
don't.
that's what you were taught. You all were taught to go to school, get a good education so you could get a good job.
And make cash king.
Make cash king. Keep shopping so you can get and spend, get and spend. How many of y'all were told to purchase assets? That gold and silver was a thing. I mean, real gold and silver. People worry about, but what if one person asked me, well, at my home, well, how is the gold? If I purchase, can I bring it here? And would it have value? Gold is gold is gold. I learned this from a young man who in the Diamond District. He stated that all gold, no matter what the carat, has 24 carats in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all built. You can burn away everything else to the 24 carat. It all depends on how much of it is in there.
Yep.
I have been learning and teaching. So if you have jewelry, that's great. Save that. Now go learn to get to the other side. I'm not walking around with chains and stuff like that. I'm not buying jewelry. I'm building a real empire of gold stackers. People will understand that gold can lead to land. See, that's the next level.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine called. I was talking to my cousin, and it was weird because he and I think alike in certain areas. But he's much more. I admire that brother. That brother has it all together. I'm still learning. He's younger than I am and a mentor because he's got an understanding and a command of business and understand. So we come together and we bring strengths. That's what you want to do with your life. You want to learn things from new people, no matter what the age. I tell folks, all this wisdom in the house ain't a darn thing. You ain't wise if you haven't done anything different than someone has. Wisdom is what you do with information.
Yep.
It's the results. And how you do it is even more important. So we invite you all to come into the space. This week, we will not be on our Wednesday. So our Wednesday, Christmas Eve, is going to be spent with family.
Yes, indeed.
It'll be spent with family and friends and enjoying. I think we're enjoying the light show. I got to go get those tickets, child. We'll be enjoying the light show. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. I missed it last time and they brought back a lot of video and stuff. I want you guys to start talking new conversations with your family. Go to our website. If you want to start doing some research, go to our website, grab whatever you can in information. Go to our YouTube. Our YouTube is P2G Networks TV on YouTube.
Yes.
P2G Networks TV. If you go there, you'll find information you can share. Because, baby, we've been talking about this since 2020. No, 2018 was it's not in our stream.
I know.
So we're 2020.
2020.
And so we were on a different stream. If you want to learn what the conversations have been around that has been talking about these days, 2020, we were having today's conversation.
Yep.
We were already finding the information and sharing it. We started a program called the Collective Enlightenment with a group of amazing young people who researched, had conversations, and took action. So that today their families are not susceptible like yours are.
I'm thinking back now because that's when we started talking about universal IDs, control.
Oh, you mean the stuff they're opening up now?
That's all happening because of October 23rd last year that you didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, the Fed Now program, CBDCs, all back in 2020, 2021. Check out Collective Enlightenment. Y'all just go ahead and enjoy.
And we were up in arms about it then.
Now, not only that, we utilized other information. So we didn't just tell you what was off the top of our head. We did what we do here. We find resources other than our own. You shouldn't just hear my voice, but we got to have conversations about what's going on, y'all.
And we really want to have you on the stream with us. We're going to talk. I'm going to share this with them really quickly. Coming in 2026, we're doing live shows with guests on Wednesdays.
So Wednesdays, work it out. Wednesdays
we're going to be seeing guests come in.
Right.
So if you have something you want to talk about, if you want to have a business you want us to highlight on Breakfast with the Thomases,
just go to p2gnetworks.com and go put it in. Go to talk to my bot, little thing that says, "Can we help you?" and say, "Yes, I would like to be on the show." That's it. And leave your information. So I will send you. I will check you out. Send me the information. Check you out, and you can send our application for our guests. So we have a guest form. We'll send that to you. Now, I got to get ready.
Yep.
How about you?
I got to get ready right now, sis.
Yes, you do. He has to move a car, and I
run real fast.
Okay. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for everyone that's been on. If you have any questions, y'all know all you got to do is drop it with us. We are available. Okay, we're not out there. This is not Breakfast with the Thomases live from studios and whatever. We out here. We're where you are.
We're next door.
Okay, and even though we will be traveling in and out, you'll get to see us. We'll be traveling, and you'll get to see our new destinations every other day. Seems like we're in and out of different places.
Yeah.
But this week is Family Week, and I'm really excited. So we'll share with you all. Come on back on our Wednesday. Next Wednesday before New Year's is a master class. It is not our free community get together. This week we're giving it a break. We're gonna let everyone just go enjoy your family, spend your time, and then be back. Be back, because we are going to be back, and we'll be here for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as we always say. Have a wonderful time, a wonderful day. Enjoy your week. I hope you got some calm and peace. And if you choose to get some gold and silver, or I should say get your silver now, Robert Kiyosaki's been promoting silver. See, the wealthy already know. You got to listen. They already are ahead of the game.
And they've been telling on them. They tell you.
Yeah, they tell on themselves. They always tell us in advance so that no one can say,
we didn't
know. That's right. You didn't want to know.
And
now that you know what you're going to do.
It's funny. You say you don't know, but it's not that you didn't know. You didn't listen.
But now you get new information. You have something new to go on. And you got new friends to join you. I'll see you soon. Blessings.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Let's play. We're
gonna play ourselves out. Guys, let us know how you like this new song.
Let us know, definitely.
All right, cool. Is it not playing? It would be good with
Work it out Wednesday. Okay. Pay it forward Friday. We'll season the day. Digital finance underneath your love. Serving food to what goes store. Rising as the beat and Eastern on P2G TV.